Welcome back to Gunsmith Part 7. This time we're turning in an M4. Here is the finished build if you would just want a quick reference, although this one is a bit more nuanced, much like the last one, because we are on hardcore and the traders are not yet all unlocked. To complete this build, you're going to need a 60 rounder, so before you even try this, you need to have one of these in your inventory. Either this one, the PMag D60, or one of these, the Surefire Mag 560. These are going to be the best bet for completing the build. I do technically believe that you can still use the 100 rounder, but with the limitations, it's going to be very hard to make this build work because the ergonomics is so much lower on that. It's another 9 to overcome. So we're going to focus on these two. This guy normally comes on Peacekeeper 3 for a barter, but that's not unlocked at the moment. And this version, the higher ergonomics version, is also technically available on Peacekeeper 4 for 3 air filters once you've completed Wet Job 2. It's also available on Ref 4 for 41 GP coins. And there is also a Ref build here for 161 GP coins at Ref level 2, but you can't get access to it until Gunsmith 11. So if you've got a friend who's done more of the gunsmiths, they might be able to buy one of these for you and then hand you the 60 rounder. Outside of this, I had a look on the wiki. It looks like you can technically get them from raiders and rogues and glue hard guards as well. So in raid, other than just hunting loads of weapons boxes, those bosses are probably going to be your best bet. Once you have one of these, we're going to go to mechanic, and I didn't have an M4, so we're going to start this right from scratch with the M4 base. So I'm going to go ahead right away and stick in my PMag D60. And we have 2 uppers that we could choose from, ADAR or M4. M4 gives you slightly more stats. Then we're going to choose the short barrel. So out of the barrels, we can either choose the ADAR 16 or the AR 15 10.3 inch. They've changed this. This used to be the 260mm barrel. That's the one that we knew before, but we're going to use this one. This is a barter. You do have to get this from Mechanic 2. 3 Marlboros and 2 Apollo SIGs. So grab those SIGs and then put this barrel onto the M4. Next, we're going to add the RG block. This one, the Wyndham Weaponry. We're going to put that on. And then handguards, we don't have much choice at the moment. The best one that we can get that allows you to use a foregrip is this one from Skier, the MOE SL Carbine Length M-Lock handguard. So we're going to use that. Then the suppressor we're going to use here is the hybrid. We're going to use this from the direct thread mount adapter, which again is a barter. We've used this on a previous build. You can buy this on Mechanic directly or barter it for some nuts. And then you could do the hybrid 46 for 4 ram barters that we all know and love over on Mechanic 2. This build is easier to do with a mini monster if you have access to that. You can get a war comp from Mechanic, and then onto that you can add the mini monster. This can be bartered for a VHS tape, so if you do have one of these, then this makes it a lot easier. I'm going to do it with the hybrid because it's much easier to find 4 RAM sticks than it is to find a VHS tape. Next on the stock, because we now have Skier 2 unlocked, we're going to use the ATP buffer tube because this gives you a tiny little bit extra recoil reduction that helps with the build. Now in terms of pistol grips, for the time being, we're just going to use this one, the battle grip. This one gives you +6. It's only 1 more than the basic one, but you can purchase this at this point in the trader levels. We might be changing this later depending on what you've got. Next, we're going to add just the basic ADAR charging handle. And then as the sight, we're going to add the Romeo 7. This is the one that gives you the 800 sighting range. And there's a change to this that we might make later. Now, in terms of stocks, we don't have a lot of choice. You may have picked some up, and I have a few around, but the one that you can actually buy is this GL Shock. This one trades for a WD-40 over at Mechanic, and this allows you to buy this particular butt stock. You use this for other gunsmiths as well, so go and buy yourself one of those and put the GL Shock on, because this is a good one to use for this build. Next, we're going to add a vertical foregrip. Now, to finish this build, we basically need to use something that has a 1.5 recoil reduction or greater. Something that does actually work is the shift grip. We know from one of the previous ones that you can barter for a shift grip with Mechanic. So if you don't have any of these foregrips at all, then a shift grip will do, and there's a way to work towards that on Mechanic 1 using the MPX barter. But if you've got something else, then you may well want to use that instead. Don't use RK0s because these are used for a future gunsmith task. I'm going to put the shift grip on here just for the moment, just so I can show you where we get to with this build. So this one gets you to 47 ergo and 77 vertical recoil, which does actually work because this 77 plus 222 gets you to 299, which is just under the recoil requirement, which is why we had to use the ATP. And the ergonomics of 47 does work, despite the fact that the quest says ergonomics above 47. 47 is also fine. If you're using other components, just make sure that the weight is lower than 3.8. This is normally okay if you've got the short barrel like we do here. In my actual build that I'm using, because I don't have a shift grip to hand, I'm probably going to use the RVG FD. And this one takes our ergonomics down to 46. Now, there's a couple of different things that you can do to fix this. Over on the front and rear sights, you've got either the Embusses or the Defiance. So we've got the Defiance front sights, or we have the Embusses. So we can put on one of those to get +1. You've also got something on the back that allows you to get +1. Again, Defiance or the Embus on the rear. So you can stick that on if you need to. There's an extra charging handle that you can barter over with Mechanic, which is the Badger Ordnance. This one is just 1 Wilston, and it gives you 1 extra ergonomics, so you can do that if you need to. And then there's 2 other things. You can grab cantilever mounts from Skier 2, And you can put 2 of them on technically, so that gives you 1 and 2 ergo. And from there you can also pick a better foregrip. Now you can't buy any of these, so you're going to have to have found one, something like the AR-15 MOE, which you could use, or the F1 ST1. Any of these that you've picked up in raids that you've just kept around and are good, that will help you finish this build, which I don't think you should with the D60, but the one that you need to be careful about is if you have this one instead, the Mag 560, because that's going to drop your ergo by 2. As you can see, all of these things that we did allow you to get up to 49. If I take these off, this build should just about work as well, 77 and 221. And there is one extra tweak you can make as well, which is instead of having the Romeo 7, you could use the Bravo, because this gives you 1 more ergo as well, because it's only -2 rather than -3. So ultimately, this is the one that I'm going to be using. I want to save my Bravo, so I don't want to use that. And I'm going to use this vertical foregrip so that I don't have to use the shift. This is what I'm going to hand in myself. I've added 1 extra cantilever to give myself a little bit of extra leeway over the Romeo 7. And from here, we're going to hand it straight into mechanic. We're going to get an electric drill as well, which is beautiful. And we'll move on to the next build.